The news broke like a thunderclap across Europe. Hungary has formally initiated its departure from the European Union. In Budapest, the EU flag was lowered, replaced by Hungary's red, white, and green. Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, before a sea of supporters, declared a new dawn for Hungarian sovereignty, breaking free from Brussels and forging a path based on national interests. This is not just another political headline. It's a seismic event, a geopolitical earthquake with aftershocks that will reshape Europe. Unlike Brexit, Hungary's exit, dubbed Huxit, comes with a twist, a simultaneous bid to join the BRICS alliance, aligning with powers that challenge the US-led order. European capitals reacted with shock and anger, while Brussels faced the unprecedented challenge of a member not just leaving, but joining a rival bloc. For years, the EU struggled to contain Orbán's illiberal democracy. Now, it faces a messy, complicated divorce with global implications. The questions are piling up, and the answers will shape the very future of the European Union. Hungary's exit was no sudden impulse. It was the result of Viktor Orbán's decade-long campaign to consolidate power and challenge Brussels. After his 2010 election, Orbán rewrote the constitution, overhauled the judiciary, and seized control of the media, all in the name of protecting Hungary's sovereignty. The 2015 migrant crisis was a turning point. Orbán defied EU refugee quotas, built border fences, and positioned himself as Europe's defender. Each clash with Brussels, over rule of law, LGBTQ+ rights, or academic freedom, became fuel for his anti-EU narrative. Even as billions in EU funds were frozen, Orbán doubled down, portraying Hungary as a victim of a liberal, globalist cabal. The war in Ukraine deepened the rift. Orbán maintained ties with Putin, blocked EU aid to Kyiv, and charted his own foreign policy. The final straw was the Sovereignty Protection Act, criminalizing foreign-funded organizations and triggering EU condemnation. Orbán called a national referendum, which delivered the result he wanted. Years of calculated defiance and nationalist rhetoric paved the road to Huxit. Hungary's break was the culmination of a long, deliberate strategy. Hungary's departure from the EU is inseparable from its pivot eastward. Orbán has spent years cultivating ties with Russia and China, making the Eastern opening policy the core of Hungarian foreign strategy. Chinese investment now dominates Hungary's high-tech and infrastructure sectors, with projects like the Budapest-Belgrade Railway and massive battery factories. Hungary was the first EU country to use China's Sinopharm vaccine, signaling trust in Beijing over Brussels. Meanwhile, Orbán's relationship with Russia has only deepened. Hungary secured long-term gas deals and expanded its Russian-built nuclear plant, defying EU sanctions. This energy dependence gives Moscow leverage and allows Orbán to echo Kremlin talking points within Europe. The formal application to join BRICS is the logical conclusion. Hungary is trading its place in the EU for a seat at a new table, where sovereignty trumps Western norms. Hungary is no longer just a problematic EU member, it's now a strategic outpost for Eastern powers in the heart of Europe. The geopolitical stakes have never been higher. At the heart of Hungary's break with the EU is its controversial economic model, ultra-low corporate taxes and generous subsidies to attract foreign investment, especially from Asia. This workfare society clashed with EU efforts to harmonize tax policy, and Orbán's refusal to accept a global minimum tax was a major catalyst for Huxit. Now, outside the EU, Hungary can double down on its low-tax, low-regulation approach, but the risks are enormous. Over 75% of Hungary's exports go to the EU, and new tariffs and barriers could devastate key industries. The government is betting that trade with BRICS and emerging markets will offset the loss of EU access, a high-stakes gamble. EU funds, which financed everything from highways to rural development, have been cut off. The forint has plummeted and investors are wary. Hungary is stepping off the well-trodden path of European integration onto a rocky road of economic uncertainty. The outcome is far from certain. Hungary's exit sends shockwaves through the EU, exposing deep fractures and forcing a painful reckoning. Unlike Brexit, Huxit comes from a Central European nation that once symbolized successful post-Soviet transition. Its departure proves that nationalism and alternative alliances can trump the appeal of Brussels. The EU's inability to prevent Hungary's slide into autocracy is a glaring failure and may embolden other nationalist governments. With Hungary aligning with BRICS, the EU now faces a strategic competitor on its own border, and a NATO ally aligned with Russia and China. This creates a new security dilemma, potentially paralyzing NATO's decision-making and sowing distrust. In the short term, the EU may rally and push for deeper integration, but this could also alienate Eurosceptic populations. Hungary's story is a warning. Europe is no longer unified in its vision for the future. The EU is now a contested space, not a club with a single destiny. The stakes for European unity have never been higher. Inside Hungary, Huxit has split the nation in two. In Budapest and other cities, many, especially the young and educated, see EU membership as core to their identity and future. Protests have erupted, with opposition groups fearing economic collapse, loss of freedoms, and a return to Eastern influence. For them, leaving the EU is a betrayal, a step backward into isolation. In contrast, rural Hungary celebrates Orbán as a defender of tradition and sovereignty. These voters see the EU as an arrogant bureaucracy, imposing unwanted values and migration. For them, Huxit is an act of self-defense, a way to protect their heritage. The divide is not just political, but cultural, urban versus rural, West versus East. State media amplifies the narrative of Western decadence and Eastern vitality. The nation stands at a crossroads, with two competing visions of what it means to be Hungarian. The path chosen will favor one side at the expense of the other. Hungary's leap into the unknown is a high-stakes gamble with immediate risks and uncertain rewards. Economically, the loss of EU market access threatens key industries and jobs, while international companies may relocate to neighboring countries. Diplomatic isolation looms. As a BRICS member and NATO ally, Hungary risks becoming a pariah, caught between East and West. For ordinary Hungarians, this could mean new travel restrictions, fewer opportunities, and a sense of being cut off from the world. Yet Orbán's government is betting on a different outcome, that Hungary can become a bridge between East and West, attracting investment as the Singapore of Central Europe. Free from EU oversight, Orbán can consolidate his illiberal state and pursue his vision of a nationalist Hungary. The gamble is that BRICS dynamism will outweigh the loss of EU funds and market access. The political rewards for Orbán are clear, unchecked power, and a legacy of sovereignty. Whether this vision delivers prosperity or disaster will define Hungary for generations. The stakes could not be higher. Hungary's exit raises a critical question. Is this the start of a trend? If Hungary falters, its story will serve as a cautionary tale, deterring other Eurosceptic governments. But if Orbán succeeds, securing trade deals and stability, his model could inspire nationalist movements across Europe. The EU's response will be crucial. A punitive approach could backfire, fueling anti-EU sentiment elsewhere. Brussels must balance protecting its integrity with avoiding the appearance of punishing the Hungarian people. Hungary's departure is a symptom of deeper malaise, a sense that the EU is too centralized and disconnected. To prevent more exits, the EU may need to become more flexible and address the concerns fueling populism. If it fails, Hungary may not be the last star to fall from the European flag. Hungary's break from the EU and alignment with BRICS marks the drawing of a new ideological line across Europe. A new kind of iron curtain is emerging, not of concrete, but of values and alliances. On one side stands the liberal democratic order of the EU. On the other, a bloc championing sovereignty and a multipolar world. Hungary's move challenges the idea that European identity is tied to the EU, forcing a continent-wide debate about its future. This is a victory for China and Russia, who gain a foothold in the West and may seek to expand their influence further. For the US, it's a setback, complicating efforts to maintain a united front against Russian and Chinese ambitions. The Western alliance now faces a new internal contradiction that will be hard to manage. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. This is the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter for Hungary and Europe. Hungary's journey will be a bellwether for the future of alliances, democracy, and the soul of Europe. The rules of the game are being rewritten before our eyes.